Hey guys, and welcome back for another content of Ragnarok M Classic. And this one is for the global version. In this video, I'd like to guide new players in Ragnarok M Classic about the things they made during the early game, and hopefully they will see this video to prevent some F2P mistakes that some players made. Here are top 10 mistakes of an F2P player. Number 1 is forgetting to turn off the CA or the combat attempt when doing the quest. When you are doing either the main or the side quests, there are these tasks that requires you to slay a monster. And by doing these things, many players tend to forget on turning the combat attempt off. The worst part is their meteoric chain is also being used. It's not really that of a big deal if you are just chilling into the game. However, for the players who want to do the power leveling, like what I have posted, you will be missing a lot of these EXP when you tend to forget on turning the combat attempt off when doing your quest. It's just here on the settings and on the game settings. And then uncheck this consume combat attempt. Just also don't forget to turn on when you are grinding again. Number 2, this is what some players did on the C server, and I think they are also doing it here on the global, that they are not using the free EXP potions. Some players assume that the free EXP potions that they get are better consumed for later because they say it will give a much higher EXP, so they save this up until they reach a certain amount of higher levels. This is so wrong because these EXP potions don't give a percentage rate. It is just a flat EXP rate, as you can see here. And if you don't consume it in the early game, you will be missing a lot of main EXP opportunities which will give you a huge amount of EXP. So better stop this nonsense. Number 3 is rushing to craft the endgame gears. This is, I think, the worst decision that you will ever make as an F2P. You see, we have these Adventure Master gears that you can easily obtain through the rifts. And these gears have a really huge impact for early to mid game. When you are very eager to craft the endgame gears, for example is the Wizardry Staff of the Mage class, you will lose a lot of potential stats because these endgame gears need a higher refinement for it to be more impactful. And it costs a lot of Zeni, especially in the early game, versus the epic spirit weapons that are fairly cheap to upgrade and very good starter attributes. So better max refines your Blue Master Adventure set first and then transition slowly into the endgame gears when you already have the Zeni. Number 4, speaking of the Adventure Master gears, the common mistakes of the F2P players are spamming the Rift instance so they can refine the gears in advance. This is also wrong. You don't need to rush all of it. As you can see here, there is a 3 times equipment drop for each day after the reset. So it is much a wiser choice to just wait for each day and just do 1 Rift attempts for the 3 times reward. Because there will be less opportunity for you to gain more Zeni if you consume all your gameplay time here on the Rift instance. You will be missing on gaining the materials from the Chaotic Invasion and Wild Fantasy Fable, which are the top priority for the early game. Number 5 is consuming most of your Zeni to get the 5-5 guild contributions. This is gonna make you broke in an instant. Materials in the early stages of the game are very expensive because the supply is not yet at the peak. And the demand is also high, that is why you shouldn't rush buying the materials needed. I know the Acer Monument is very important for your character progression, but you can just slowly upgrade them by doing the 3/5 contributions instead of 5/5. Because every time you go for the more contributions, the more materials will be demanded for you to offer. And I think it's not worth to spend most of your Zeni here because there are events that will give you guild contributions and gold medals. Just need some patience. Also for the gold medal, in the early stages of the game, it is best to buy just 1/5. This is due to the rare materials being at standard price for now. Soon the market will be saturated and these materials will be at the lower price, so just take your time and don't rush things up. You can buy more of it when the time comes. Number 6 is prioritizing the Oracle dungeon over the other instance. Some F2P are just consuming all their gameplay attempts here on the Oracle dungeon. Because yeah, you can gain some more monster cards here, which is great. And they also are farming the Nolan card, or what we call now as the Norns card. So they can pull from the King Pouring for a chance to get MVP cards. Remember that pulling a card from the King Pouring is an RNG. It may be a good pick or bad pick. and it also costs 1 million Zeni. So my first rule of being an F2P is not relying too much on RNG. And like I said, it's better to consume your gameplay time on the Chaotic Invasion or the Wild Fantasy for the materials. Number 7 is rushing the Adventure Handbook for the attack stats. While this may be the best choice for progression after you complete the Adventure Master Gears, I advise you to take this slowly. Crafting some headgears may cost you a lot, especially in the early stages of the game, where the materials at their standard price. What I mostly do is to be self-sufficient in gaining these materials needed for crafting the headwears, and choosing the instance to farm the materials is very recommended. Number 8 is picking the wrong MVP card of choice. All players will have the access to the MVP card of choice on their New Beginnings event, and you can see a lot of MVP cards here to choose from. You can only select one of these cards after you completed the 100 pulls. And for further explanation and best card of choice for every classes, kindly check my video regarding this to guide you on what card you will choose. Number 9, this is optional if you really want to go the Zeni route first, so you can take advantage in the late game. Zeni is very important in this game, so some players including me are choosing the Blacksmith as their base class, because they have these passives that are very much effective for farming Zeni and materials, just like the fundraising and then greed. But some players tend to forget that having the enchanted stone crafting is really needed for another source of Zeni. Yes, because you can obtain some magic fuels that you can use for crafting some consumables that will benefit some characters, like for the precision stone or this fire element alloy that is very needed for GVG when facing warlocks with meteor storms. And if you don't want to craft these things, you can just sell this magic fuel to the NPC and gain a good amount of Zenis. And lastly, this is related to most of what I mentioned here, is not to rush in this game. Always remember that this server is a Zeni only server, for which managing your Zeni will be a top priority for free-to-play players. Currently, I'm just farming some materials that are very in demand in the early game, and then sell it on the exchange market so I can still take the advantage of the standard prices. Sooner, this exchange market will be saturated and prices will go down. That is also the time where I will take advantage of the low price. So guys, just keep on grinding and take advantage of the status of the exchange market. In the end, mistakes are part of your journey. It is not meant for you to be disappointed. We all have different progressions and pacings, so just keep grinding your way. If you find this video helpful, then please leave a like. Also subscribe to support my channel. As always, thank you for watching, stay safe and have an awesome day. Lights out.